Too many men are trying to become physically strong in the gym whilst completely neglecting their mental strength and mental health. If you're not as strong as you want to be in the gym right now on the squat, the bench press, the deadlift, and other lifts, I am willing to bet there is some work that we need to do on your mental health, discipline, and life outside of the gym. You probably miss training sessions quite often, you don't follow a good training plan, you don't train as hard as you could as often as you would like to, you don't track your food intake, your schedule's probably all over the place, and you make a lot of excuses for why you aren't getting bigger or stronger. If that sounds anything like you, you need to watch this video because I'm going to give you some solutions so that you can hit some PRs in the gym and get as strong as possible. And if you would like me to work with you directly, I've helped hundreds of guys just like you to get bigger, stronger, and improve their life outside of the gym. Top link in the description, you can hire me as your personal strength coach. So, I am a huge believer that you cannot get physically strong in the gym if mentally you are weak and there is work to be done on your mental health. And chances are there probably is because you clicked on this video. I've worked with hundreds of guys like you. I've been in the same position as well. And a lot of guys don't realize that to get very, very strong, I'm talking like to be the strongest guy in most gyms that you walk into, it requires a like psychopathic level of consistency, discipline, that most guys are just nowhere near willing to stick to. I coach loads of guys and a lot of them don't realize how much consistency and just boring work over and over and over again that it takes to get really strong. And in order to achieve that, you have to be so strong mentally that you show up to all the training sessions, you track everything, you do all of the work. A lot of guys just aren't in a place where they can do that, and that's why they don't get as strong as possible. Usually it's not the training program or the technique or these other things. It's because mentally they are weak and they don't have their life together outside of the gym essentially. So when I've had my best periods of training, when I got as strong as possible, I squatted almost 250 kilos, bench 160 kilos, deadlifted 300 kilos, which are moderate numbers, but for a guy like me, average genetics, came from a very skinny background. Those are leaps and bounds ahead of where I got to. And obviously in most gyms I go to here, commercial gyms and stuff like that, you're not seeing those kind of numbers. So I'm very proud of how far I've been able to come. But to get to those numbers, if I told you the level of like consistency I had to go through and neglect other areas of my life to get to those numbers, same as the guys that I coach that are exceptionally strong, like we all have a couple things in common. I never skipped training sessions, and I don't just say like, oh, maybe I missed one or two. Like I missed zero for years and years. I probably went a 5-year stretch without missing one single training session. I didn't miss one set, one rep. There was never a time I left the gym thinking, oh, I can't bother to do that set. I did every set, every rep. You can ask guys that I train with. They know I do not miss sets or reps. I tracked every single training session without fail. I checked in with my coach every time I trained and I recorded all of my main lifts. I tracked all of my macros every single day. Maybe sometimes I went off plan, but I tracked every single thing that I ate all the time. I knew whether I was in a cut or a bulk. I slept 8 hours per night as often as I could. And I was literally obsessed. I just consumed content all the time. I trained as hard as I could all the time, surrounded myself by guys stronger than me. And if you're hearing that and you think that sounds a bit unreasonable or I couldn't do that, then there is some work that we need to do in order to get you to that level of strength. Because if you want to get really, really strong and you're not satisfied with just getting to the like average generic numbers that most guys can hit, like a 3-plate squat, a 2-plate bench, maybe a 4-plate deadlift, like if those sound too low to you, and I hope they do if you're watching this video, then you are going to need to work on your mental health and your mental strength in order for us to make you the man who is capable of putting in these hours to the training, tracking the food, and doing all of these things, okay? And you might be watching this and thinking like, oh, what does this guy know? He doesn't know how it is to like be depressed or have poor mental health and stuff like that. And I don't often talk about this stuff. I don't really need to. I don't want the sympathy or the discussion about it. But fun story, when I was about 6 years old, my mum said she took me to the doctors. 6 years old, by the way, because I would never get off the sofa. I was just sleeping all day. And back then the doctor said I had clinical depression at age 6, which is kind of insane. I didn't even know that until she told me recently. But I've had long stretches where I can't get out of bed for an entire week at a time. I can't even get up to take a piss or something like that. Around 2019, broke up with an ex-partner at the time, just as COVID lockdown hit, and I lost my job because of COVID. Obviously couldn't go to the gym, was locked inside my apartment, all my money draining. I lost like all my money. I had like 1 month left for rent. I think I had about $1,000 left in my bank account. and that would have covered me for the next month, and then I would have been fucked and basically could not cover my rent. And yeah, I've been through various bouts of depression, especially during that time. I couldn't get out of bed for weeks, days at a time. Then I've had to implement a lot of these strategies that I'm going to share with you to become the man I have today. Now I have a nice place here in London. I run 2 pretty successful fitness companies. I'm able to help a bunch of guys on YouTube here to get bigger and stronger and stuff like that. And some of these things that I've shared with you have been fundamental in helping me to get here, and I really hope that they can help you too. So let me get straight into some of these solutions. So I'm going to give you a 3-part plan to improve your mental health, your mental strength, which will contribute to you being able to train more productively, eat better, and just get bigger and stronger, okay? So 3-part plan, I'm going to make it super simple, tell you exactly how to implement them, because I've used all 3 of these things myself, and they have helped me drastically to improve my mood, mental health, and just to improve my life in general. So step number 1 is writing a long-term plan. A lot of people will tell you this, but I'm going to tell you in a very specific way so that you can literally at the end of this video implement this straight away and start working on this plan. So I took this from a book called The Great Rat Race Escape by, I don't want to butcher his name, but I'll put a link to the book on screen somewhere. This book and The Millionaire Fastlane, 2 of the best books I've ever read. And he calls it basically the 1-5-10 plan. So this plan, essentially, we are just going to map out a long-term plan for you. And I'm going to put some screenshots on screen so that you can see how this plan actually works. And I've got my own plan in front of me right here. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to start with the long-term plan and work backwards and chunk it down. So first you're going to set some 10-year goals. So for me, this is end of 2035 because I did this process at the start of this year. So you need to write out in 10 years time how your ideal life would look. Cover every aspect. What do you do for work? Where do you live? How much money do you make? What kind of partner do you have? What job do you do? Every aspect, like literally the more detail you can put into it, the better, and just cover every single base. So if everything went perfectly for the next 10 years, how would your life ideally look in 2035 or 2036, right? So we're going to start with that. And I even wrote out like a typical day in the life, like what time I would wake up, what work I would do, when I would train, where I'd be living and stuff like that. Make it as clear as possible, okay? This is like the long-term part that is really going to guide you and keep you motivated to actually do the work that you're avoiding currently. Then we're going to break that down into the 5-year plan. So you've got the 10-year, 2035, you've got the 5-year, which is going to take you to 2030, and you basically just write down the actions that you would need to achieve in 5 years to be on track to hit the 10-year plan. So for example, if in 10 years you want to be making like 10K a month, in 5 years you probably need to be making about 5K a month. So just chunk them down into slightly smaller tasks, and we're going to set next actions for each of them, okay? Then we're going to break it down into 1 year, so that would be the end of this year, end of 2025. We're going to, again, chunk it down. So if you wanted to make 10K in 10 years, 5K in 5 years, maybe we say by the end of this year you make your first $1,000 from your online business, so $2,000 or something like that, right? And then, as you can guess, the last section is going to be 1 month. So end of November, for example, I'm recording this video in November, you need to break down the next actions that you need to take in order to make those goals happen. So if end of the year goal is to hit $1,000 in your online business, your 1 month goal for this goal could be to create your offer or get your first customer, for example, okay? Now, the reason I like this plan so much is because it doesn't leave things to chance. It gives you a very clear direction for how to move forward. You have the long-term vision, but then we're chunking it down so you know exactly what to do. And I relate this to training a lot, because when you have a training program that very clearly outlines what you need to do, there is a clear direction, you know like what the next 3-4 weeks are going to look like, and you know this, you buy into the process way more. You train way harder and you stick to it a lot better because you can kind of see the future a little bit. You know there's a plan going forward. Exactly the same with your life goals and stuff like that. If there's no plan, there's no direction, you're just not going to stick to it and you're not going to do it, okay? Once you've got that plan in place, step number 2 is to have a daily schedule. And I mentioned this in a previous video, but it completely blows my mind that the average guy just wakes up randomly and has no plan about the day, no to-do list, no calendar. It's just like they wake up and they're just like, no, I'm going to do this today, or I'm going to play Xbox, or I'm going to smoke weed, or like, and then wonder why do I feel like shit? Why is my mental health poor? Why am I not getting strong? You should wake up and know exactly, like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I'm not saying you need to be like a regimented robot or something and live a really shit, boring life, but you need some kind of schedule in place, some kind of purpose. You can't just wake up, roll out of bed, and no plan for the day. Like when I was back in university and stuff like that, yeah, I'd wake up at like noon, I would jump on Xbox, then I would do whatever else I felt like, then I would just lie around, I would scroll, I'd watch YouTube videos, and a lot of you guys are probably doing that right now, and it's why you feel like shit on a daily basis most of the time, because you know you are slacking on your potential, and you know you are not doing actions that are leading you to be the guy you want to be. You are ashamed of the things you are doing. That's why you feel depressed, and it's why you can't train productively. Your mental health is stopping you from getting to the gym often, training as hard as you could. So you need a schedule, okay? The simplest way to do your schedule is just imagine an ideal day in your life. Like some of you might have jobs and stuff like that, which fair enough, you need to account for that. But just picture an average, like a good day in your life. What would a good day look like for you? What time would you wake up? How many meals would you have? What time would you have your breakfast and stuff like that? What would you work on? When would you train? Like just picture a good day and then literally just write it down in a structure or a timetable like you used to in school, college, and then just go follow it every single day. You can just put it in a table, wake up at this time, meal one at this time, gym at this time, and then just have some kind of rough structure that you follow. It might change like based on the day or just when life stuff comes up, but you need some kind of structure. You can't just be waking up and be like, I might do this today, and then wonder why you feel terrible. Be exactly the same as going to the gym with no training program and then wondering why you're not getting strong. Like your life needs a training program as well. Now, the final thing is a daily checklist. So you've got a plan. The plan gives you direction, gives you purpose, tells you what to do. The daily schedule kind of aligns that plan into actions each day, so you know when to do what thing to move forward. The daily checklist is the final thing. This is really, really simple, but this will ensure that you are not wasting time each day on pointless things, and you are just focusing in on the highest leverage tasks, the things that improve your life the most and move you towards your goals. So mine they're on my lock screen right now. I keep them on my phone lock screen, if I can even unlock my phone. So I have 5 here. I don't know if you can see them or if they will focus, but mine are very simple. It's to record and upload a YouTube video. It is to train, to clear my client inbox, hit my macros, and sleep at 12. The reason I chose these is because obviously these YouTube videos allow me to help a lot of people. They are the core of my business that bring in my clients for coaching to help them get bigger and stronger. Training obviously is very, very important for my business, for my mental health, physical health. Clearing my client inbox, need to serve my clients every single day. My clients get responses from me every single day. I'll watch all their training videos. They check in with me every time they train. They will send me nutrition updates and stuff like that, and then I'll work with them and give them feedback every single day of the week. And if you want to be in on that, top link in the description. Hit my macros again, very important for my physique, my mental and physical health. And then sleep at 12. That one is one I am working on. But when I stick to that one consistently, that's when all aspects of my life are better, including training. So get yourself a daily checklist, limit it to 5 items only. Don't do any more than 5. Those need to be the highest leverage tasks that move you towards your goals, okay? So if you can put these 3 things in place, get yourself a long-term plan, a 1-5-10 plan, a daily schedule, a daily checklist, you are going to see such a noticeable difference in your mental health, in your life. And then because of that, you will be able to train so much more productively. Imagine if on a daily basis, you feel much better every day. You're in much better mental health with no depression, no anxiety and stuff like that. Imagine how much more you'll be able to put into the gym. You won't miss your training sessions. You'll be able to train harder in the gym because you'll feel better. You won't feel like skipping exercises and stuff like that. You will be able to better recover because depression and things like that blunt your recovery in the gym because you can't accumulate enough stimulus either to get stronger. You're going to eat better, you're going to sleep better, and just generally get better and get bigger and stronger, okay? So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions and comments on this kind of thing, you want me to go into a bit more depth, post a comment in the comment section down below. I have a free training program here as well if you want a good program to get started alongside the life stuff. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video.